All right, good morning, everyone. You're ready for our next session. My name is Rohit Singh. I'm a medical oncologist at UVM Cancer Center and assistant professor of medicine at Lawrence College of Medicine. And I have the honor of serving as the faculty co-chair for this year's conference. It is my honor to introduce our next speaker, Terri Conneran. She'll be presenting this morning's session. She's a lung cancer survivor and a founder of KRAS Kickers. It is a global patient empowerment group which has over more than 10,000 individuals affected by KRAS-driven cancers. As a director of KRAS Cancer Connect, she bridges science and survivorship through education and storytelling. She presented at international conferences and multiple forums, including World Lung Cancer Conference, ASCO. Her advocacy featured in WebMD, Yahoo, News, and upcoming Forbes Book of Voices of Oncology. She's a champion advocate for patients, trials, and personalized care in the Gen Me era. I would like to welcome Terri, and thank you so much for this. Just for Q&A at the end of the session, as we discussed, Zoom attendees, you can chat in your questions, and volunteers will read them out. For in-person attendees, please wait for me to bring a mic to you, or we can use our mics at the corners of our rooms so that everybody is able to hear the questions. Thank you, and hand it over to Terri.
You okay? All right, well, I'm going to be wandering around here in just a moment because I don't really feel like I belong up on stage. But let me just say, it was a great session this morning about AI. And don't you agree that really what we need AI to do is figure out how it can be the patient and I can just be normal again? That's really what the goal needs to be. And until they kind of figure that part of it out, I think they got a long ways to go. Okay, so like I said, all right. Thanks for having me here. The reason I'm coming down, I'm a patient. I'm a lung cancer survivor. I don't feel like I belong up there. Oh, thank you. I've also got a birthday about a week from now. I'm gonna be 64 years old. Yeah, right? Come on. Thank you. And I have to go home early because my kids are throwing me a birthday party tomorrow because that's when it's convenient for them. Okay, so when I say I'm like one of you, I mean, this is my world, okay? I'm just a patient, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me and a little bit about you, but hopefully we can have a good time together, and hopefully we can all learn how to do life a little bit better through cancer. Now, I look around the room here, and I gotta say, I see almost all women. Of course, it's a women's conference, no surprise there. And I would put odds on the fact that you aren't really just representing yourselves, you're representing the circle, the sphere, your people in your world. And so I have a husband, I have a son, I have a son-in-law, I have like parents and all those other things that come with being a human being. And somehow all of this seems to dump on me. I'm not sure what it looks like in your world, but that's pretty much what it looks like in mine. And so although I know they're calling this a women's conference, we're calling it a cancer conference, my opinion, this is a people conference, and this needs to be kind of like what we're going to be about and how we kind of need to be figuring out life through it. Now, like I said, I don't walk around telling people how old I am intentionally, but you know what? It's reached the point now where it's more bragging rights than it is anything else, okay? And once you get diagnosed with cancer, as many of y'all know, I wasn't about survivorship because it was about getting older, okay? Now, sadly, I look in the mirror and I know what I used to look like and what I look like right now. I wish I had my husband's view. He looks in the mirror and still sees himself at 25, and it's been a long time since he was 25. But at the same time, I kind of like see and realize really like what a blessing it has been for me to be able to realize how special it is to be able to have this and be able to grow older, right? I mean, it's not really getting older and fine wine and all that stuff. We're leveling up. We're getting wiser. And so hopefully this wisdom that we've gleaned from being here amongst all those many people, we'll be able to take home amongst everybody. So anyway, so that's kind of what I'm here and what I'm hopeful to do with y'all today. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I never go right with my slides. Just full disclosure, I'm a lung cancer patient. And did I already screw it up? Oh, all right, and so there's my adorable family. So here's the story about that picture. That was taken, in 2017. And again, I kind of feel like, can I just talk to y'all like we're just friends, okay? This is not a formal thing. I'd love to tell you I'm wearing sneakers because it's a fashion statement. Truth of the matter is, I'm a sneaker wearer, okay? But we're gonna go with I'm a fashion statement. So here's the thing, is that I was diagnosed in 2017, and I said to my 3 kids there, again, does my husband look 25? Not so much. And that was 9 years ago. So here's the thing. I said to my kids, I got diagnosed on that blonde's birthday, her 25th birthday. They called me and told me I had lung cancer. Fun story about all that. But to me, what this picture represents is everybody in the family immediately went into crisis mode. Mom's got cancer. What are we gonna do? What are we going to do? We, them, they're gonna solve my problem because she did turn 25, right? So they're gonna solve my problem. What can we do? My husband says, you've never been to Europe. Do you wanna go to Europe? I'm like, seriously, this is what it took? I said, no, I don't wanna go anywhere. I wanna be cured. I wanna be treated. Well, I said, you know what you can do? For years, I've been asking for a family picture. This is what I got, okay? So it took a lung cancer diagnosis for me to be able to wrangle the family together, to stand still and smile, okay? Now, this is true, again, I don't know what your worlds look like. Maybe y'all have people that just line up and they show up at the local whatever place, or you have a photographer comes to your house. Because I didn't want one of those like wedding pictures or they're from their fireplace where everybody's like, can we get this over with? Okay, or first day of school. I wanted a picture that was us. Okay, my secret agenda is I wanted to have a picture of me before I started treatment, while I still had my hair, where they could look back and go, that was my mom. I'm gonna go back a little bit. My mom died from breast cancer. She was diagnosed in her 30s. Her mom was diagnosed in her 20s. Okay, her mom died at 42. My mom made it to 50. I was on my scans. I'd been getting mammography scans, arguing with insurance companies. I was good at it, really good at it. They heard from me. And so they did all the testing, and I started getting it done very young, my 20s. So when I hit 50, and I didn't have breast cancer, and I was alive, and I was feeling pretty good, I thought, okay, I got this. I'm gonna be okay. I'm really gonna be okay, because that's all that was on my radar. Fast forward a couple of years, I was 55 when I got diagnosed. It just turned 55. And when I got the diagnosis, it wasn't because somebody was looking for it. Many of you know, cancer kind of comes into the door in one of many different ways. Could be like an accidental find. They were looking for something else and then it showed up, okay? car accident, lots of different things. Could have been you were being proactive and on it and looking for it, doing colonoscopies and mammograms. Could have been that way, okay? Could very well have been that way. Or it could have been like, you wandered into the doctor thinking like you just had a cold. That was me. I thought I had a cold, I thought I had allergies and a cold and whatever, and went into the doctor and found out just, right before Christmas. Truth of the matter is, it was 2 days before Christmas. And my husband apparently was sick of me complaining because he's like, well, maybe some antibiotics will make you feel better. Go see the doctor. And I went into the doctor, and she's like, I can hear some fluid in your lungs. You don't sound so good. Let's do a chest x-ray. Her last work day before the holiday. And she could see this thing. And she's like, Terri, come back here. I'm just in my PCP. I, with my naked eye, could see there's this big old something, looked like the size of a fist in my lung. It's like, you need to come back. You need to make sure you come back right after the first year. We'll put you on antibiotics, put you on the nebulizer, all this sort of thing. Now, because of all the cancer in my family, okay, I'm not going to go into the huge, long thing. Trust me, it's everybody. It doesn't run through my family. It stops and stays and has dinner and keeps going. So it was everybody in my family had cancer. And so it's like, I'm not going to go home and tell the family and be, Mom ruined Christmas. You already know I ruined her 25th birthday. But so I had a whole month of time where it was just pneumonia. And the first pulmonologist I went to, and again, only because they give me all this time do I even get to share this story with you. I've got a fast version that's much less exciting. I went to the pulmonologist right after the first of the year. And I went in, and the pulmonologist says to me, you're a lung doc, so you appreciate this. He says, I look at scans all the time. And if I thought this was lung cancer, I would tell you. I don't think it is. Now I'm like, wow, okay. Now, why is that important to what we're talking about here? Do you know how easy it would have been to just walk away? I saw my PCP. I saw a professional pulmonologist. She had sent me for scans and whatever. And he said, I don't think that's what it is. I was like, that temptation was real. I didn't realize how important and how life-changing that one decision was going to be. He says, but let's just, he almost seemed like he was humoring me. Maybe I added that to the story. But I did get the impression, he's like, okay, well, let's do a biopsy, just to be sure. Okay. I'm feeling good about this. It's January. I've got a whole calendar year, new deductible. If we're going to do this, let's get this done, right? I mean, you learn to play the game. Who wanted to get diagnosed the end of December, right? Then I got to figure that nonsense out. I'm on to January. So let's do it then. So I go in, do the biopsy. Doc calls me on, like I said, my daughter's 25th birthday and said it's lung cancer. That was a Friday. I'm trying to figure out and how to process what I'm going to say to my kids, how I'm going to say to my kids. I did not have time to do that. I woke up the following morning, Saturday morning, and I'm like, I think I'm having a heart attack. And it's like, my husband's like, well, what do you mean? Because that's how he thinks. He's very medically trained. Well, what do you mean? It's like, well, like you look okay. Well, thank you for that. I could be laying in a pool of bed. He'd say, are you all right now? No, I'm not okay now. And I said, well, I don't know. So anyway, so after going back and forth, because I'm a little stubborn, that will become very apparent throughout all of this. So I said, all right, fine. He's like, you know what? You really need to go to the emergency room. Yeah, sure, January. Who does on a Saturday? Who doesn't want to go to the emergency room, right? This sounds like a good time. But I was sick enough, and it was like, I said, I'll tell you what, I will go, only if you let me drive. Okay, yeah, I said I'm stubborn. Okay, so I drove. We went to the emergency room. And the emergency room, much to my surprise, triaged me and put me straight into a room. I'm like, oh man, maybe something is going on. Turns out, so the emergency room doc, again, I should be looking at a clock. Don't worry, this whole story doesn't last all that long. It turns out the emergency room doctor walks in and he says to me, so, Ms. Conneran, what do you think's wrong? And I said, I have lung cancer. And he's like, who told you that? He was very distressed. Again, this is my real world. He's very, very distressed by that. I said, well, my doctor called and told me yesterday. He's like, and you could see the relief wash over this ER doc's face. He's like, oh, I was so afraid that one of the nurses or somebody said something from your chart and they hadn't called you yet. Again, so I'm kind of kicking into this whole, I'm coming here for help, and he looked more relieved about my lung cancer than I did. And now, because I'm in the emergency room and my husband goes into full panic mode, calls the kids all come in, everybody's standing at the foot of the bed. He's calling the priest, he's calling everybody. And it's like, okay, because that's the way he rolls. He's like a chihuahua barking, like everywhere, he's got to let everybody know. And I'm like, all right. Again, I'm making it sound like I'm all tough and all that now. I wasn't then. I'm laying in the room, and I'm sick. And I'm so sick. And now the whole family knows, and I had no control over it. And honestly, it was hard. And I'm not sure what was harder was those moments of the reality of it, or what am I facing next? Because I didn't even have my time to kind of grasp what I had going on. And in my mind, I had flashback to when I saw my grandmother in the 60s. She was like brutalized with chemo, the 60s. I mean, it was brutal. She was cut open, and it was brutal. There's nothing left to that woman. And that's what I thought I was gonna look like. And I thought I was gonna pretty much look like it by then. Now, I'm not sure how many of y'all are survivors or have cancer or where you are in your life journeys, but I do remember going into the bathroom in the hospital and looking in the mirror and looking at myself and saying, I don't look any different. How can I have cancer? Like, I just somehow thought it made you feel different, like stubbing a toe or something, like it was gonna make me feel different, or like, I don't know, like I grew stuff in my head or something. I don't know. It just really thought I was gonna feel different, and I didn't. Anyway, so I went through treatment. Okay, I'll give you the whole scorecard up front so that you're not listening. Spoiler, I'm still here. So I went through 4 rounds of chemo. They cut out half my lung. I was stage 3. I presented as though I was metastatic, so I presented as I was stage 4. So they sent all my, fluid off for biomarker testing. I didn't know what that meant then. I know what it means now. I realize how incredibly important it is now. And they did some genetic testing, and they didn't really learn anything. Okay, that's what they told me. They changed my treatment a couple times back and forth. There's all that. And I got through treatment. I was 55, right? I didn't realize how good I was doing then, but I was doing okay. I got through treatment and all that, and they started okay, doing what you do. In fact, probably what a lot of you are doing. Okay, I got this diagnosis. Now what can I do moving forward with my life? I heard the tick, tick, tick of my life with the diagnosis. Now I realize what a gift and how short that clock is for the future, and I'm taking charge as best I can. So I start doing something I really hate, exercising. I really hate exercising. I don't mind eating healthy-ish, though you did see me eat cookies earlier. But I don't mind eating healthy-ish, But man, exercise. And I went into one of a cancer program. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. And and I know that they have them here too, through the Y, we have like a Live Strong program, right? You can go to Cancercise and they do the things and whatever. And when I was cute and adorable and would have looked good in yoga pants, that's not when I was going to go work out. So I show up and I'm like surrounded, I'm terrified. I'm gonna walk into a room full of, pardon me if you were one of these people, a room full of ponytailed people that looked good in yoga pants, okay? And I was not a ponytail person. Honestly, I can't really say I ever look good in yoga pants, but I was never a ponytail person. And I didn't like look all cute and bouncy on the little treadmill and whatever. Do you notice like the little California thing that I suddenly did all of a sudden? All of a sudden a Valley Girl comes out of my mouth. So I didn't want to do it, but I went because now I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. And I started learning things. And I saw there's a lot of like breast cancer represented because like the scans and the art and all this stuff, cool. And I went into this cancer group and started hearing from all these cancer patients, the breast cancers mostly, about all these things that they have, like, integrative oncology and physical therapy and scar tissue massage and doctors and not just walks, but stuff to help a patient feel better. And so I was like, wow, maybe there's stuff that I need to know about beyond just myself. I didn't go to a cancer fair. I didn't know anything about a cancer fair. I went to a lung cancer support group. That support group was very eye-opening to me, and not in a way one would have expected. Now, what I was expecting to walk into was seeing a bunch of people on oxygen and for some reason in my mind, I don't know. I just kind of thought it was going to smell smoky and I don't know what I was expecting, okay? But I didn't expect to walk in and see a group of people that look young and relatively healthy. And pretty much like you, okay? Always, it doesn't matter what the place is. It's usually more women show up than men. I don't know why. How can we possibly be underrepresented when we seem to be the ones that show up? Just wondering. I don't know. Anyway, so I show up. I started hearing about these biomarker things. I'm going to grab my phone so I can see what time it is. So I started hearing about these biomarker things. These biomarker things, holy cow. It's what's driving the cancer. And breast cancer, you hear that HER2 positive and that sort of thing, and triple negative and all sort of stuff. In lung cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancers, what have you, there's a whole lot of other biomarkers as well. Pancreatic cancers. There's other biomarkers. In the lung cancer patient group, they would break up little clubs of people that are on a similar sort of a therapy based on that biomarker. And I bore you with details and kill you with the science, but what mattered was I was well, what am I and where do I belong? Like anything else, it doesn't matter where you go or what you do. Where am I? Where do I belong? I wanted to belong too. I didn't feel like I belonged in the general group because they knew stuff, and I couldn't go to the pink house we have in Charlotte because I wasn't a pink person, so I couldn't go there, and I couldn't go to, I wasn't a ponytail person. Boy, I was not a ponytail person. And I heard about it, and I started seeing it. Asked my doc. She said, well, you really don't have anything definable. You don't have anything like that. All right. So I just kind of identified as a lung cancer patient, which everybody's got stigmas. Everybody's got stuff. Doesn't matter what it is. And lung cancer, our big question we get is, oh, so how long did you smoke? Oh, is this the non-smokers kind? Oh, I didn't know you smoked. When did you stop? We have our own issues. In colon cancer, the big question is around your food and your diet. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter. Everybody's got something. And the problem, in my opinion, cancer is kind of stigmatizing. So again, when AI can start being the patient and I can just go have my normal life again, that's when we got something. Anyway, I've got my husband working on it, you know, Mr. 25. So I find out I'm nothing. Well, that's how I felt. I felt like nothing because I didn't have a group of people I could belong to. I just wanted to belong to a group of people. Fast forward, got involved a little bit. This is what retired PTA moms do. And PTA mom, after I was a soccer mom, because my kids really sucked at soccer. And so it's like, this is kind of what I was doing. And it wasn't going so well. I couldn't just be one thing. I'm still a mom. I'm still a wife. I'm not going to wake up one day and be a ponytail person. I'm not going to wake up one day and no longer be a daughter or whatever. I still have these other things. And how am I going to manage all these things? How am I going to juggle all these things? Well, I had the first of what's been 5 different lung cancer recurrences. And at that first recurrence, I felt like I was one of my kids, 6 years old, that had failed their spelling test. Except there was nothing I could do to study for it. There was no way I could prepare for it. I just went in and I got scanned, and I thought I was gonna be good. I thought I was done. It wasn't done with me yet. So I had the first of 5 recurrences. First 2, we were able to hit it with radiation and ablation. Subsequently, I've been through a whole bunch of radiation. I think it's like 38 rounds total. I don't know, I've lost track. I'm not one of those people that counts, they're like, I've been through this many scans and whatever. So I went through the cancer treatment. I'm still standing, but I still haven't gotten around to this organization, this thing that I've started talking about. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of what I do. And hopefully it's part of what y'all need to understand about me, because I'm not done. So fast forward, I went through the treatment. I went through all five different recurrences. When I found out after 2 recurrences that it was okay to go get a second opinion from another doctor, and I went and saw another doctor outside of my own system, and I know you well. I know that you would refer somebody. You have no problem sending somebody out for a second opinion. Why do I know that? Because I go to these oncology conferences, and they're filled with doctors at every conference, and they stand up and sit up on, and usually they sit on stage. They don't stand down here on the floor like me. They sit up here on stage and stand up on stage, and they have no problem discussing pros and cons and this and that. Not just taking ChatGPT or whatever and just taking it and like dialoguing in a real intelligence way of what's best for this person in this situation now. And that was mind-blowing to me. I had no idea that was going to be okay. I had no idea that clinical trials weren't something that somebody just went into in the kitchen. I don't know. I was envisioning a kitchen. In the kitchen, just threw a whole bunch of stuff together and said, hey, got nothing else, just give this to her. I had no idea you had to qualify for clinical trials, and that's like the latest and greatest treatments. And that's a lot of what's happening. And I understand, like here, they're working on becoming NCI designated, and I hope y'all get it, because we need it. I'm not from here. Y'all need it, okay? Because why does that little star matter? It matters in lots of ways. And I wish you much luck, much success in any way I can help. But in the meantime, know that you have that option. And from that information of that second opinion, the doctor says to me, the thoracic oncologist says to me, oh, Terri, you know what? They first tested you. Remember that biomarker test I referred to at the beginning? They tested you at the beginning, and they've tested you 2 other times, and we checked it. You're KRAS. I had no idea what that meant. But it meant something. And I go home, old days, and we Googled it. I went home, and I Googled it. And I looked for it, and I looked for a group, because there's these ALK and EGFR and HER2 and breast cancer. And boy, y'all breast cancer folks have a lot of groups. There's a lot of different things. So I went looking for something, and there wasn't a group. So I started one. I thought any idiot seems to be able to start a Facebook group. Idiot signed up. First Facebook group I joined is one I started. Boy, it's a little different. It's a Wild West out there. I had no idea. Oops, I forgot to change my slide. Okay. This is our most recent family picture. This past year, we've had 2 of my 2 oldest get married. Shelley the blonde got married last October. She's coming up on our first anniversary, which is why she's too busy to celebrate Mom's birthday, when Mom's birthday really is. My son, the tall one, as you can see, he got his height from his mother. He just got married in May. And the one with the curly hair on the far right, that young man there doesn't realize it, but there's a ring around his nose, and she's going to drag him to an altar. Not sure if he's come to that conclusion or not, but he's going to be. So anyway, so there's the family now. I'm hopeful I can actually get everybody to sign up for a picture with Mom. I've tried Mother's Day, Christmas, birthday. I can't get anybody to do it. All right, so that's now. Okay, we're going to talk about KRAS holes. Please laugh. You heard me tell you I got diagnosed with a KRAS? I didn't know it was called KRAS if you're a researcher. I thought it was KRAS. I thought, what kind of hole is this? Anyway, the KRAS holes that I started running into, by the way, the organization is called KRAS Kickers, and I do have KRAS Kicker stickers. Y'all be handing them out after the sessions and whatever. And I'll be changing it to a t-shirt, so I don't mess up my nest jacket. But I can tell you what a KRAS hole is. Well, let's start with my doctor, my first doctor. When I said, hey, what biomarkers, what cancers, what drivers do I have? And she didn't tell me. KRAS hole. When I was afraid to go get a second opinion, KRAS hole. Okay. When my pulmonologist told me, oh, I don't think it's cancer, that was a potential one right there. Think of it as a pothole. Think of it as somebody who's driving down the street. I haven't driven around here much, but I'm sure I come from Arizona, and I know what it's like having a whole bunch of tourists coming to your area and invading your area. Our opinion was they should just send the green, keep Arizona green, just send it in, stay home. But that was a potential hole too. Now, really, what is a KRAS hole? It really is any sort of interference, any sort of problem that you run into. What is it really trying to solve for? I want you, every person, have the best health care outcome, literacy, and equity. Okay, that's really what the whole stands for, but I kind of like acronyms, and so I don't push that really hard. But what's more importantly is, and you'll see, the clocks, the docs, the DNA, the pills, the clinical trials, the fact that I thought a clinical trial was something that they just threw together and threw at me. I had no idea. Oh my gosh, you have to qualify for a clinical trial? It's not like you just showed up. No idea. I'm really glad that they've got the trial thing following me next. Those are the stickers y'all get. Okay. I hate talking to slides and much rather story tell. Okay. I was delighted to be able to go out there and see all the different booths y'all have. Now, I'm not from Vermont. This is my first time here, actually. It's beautiful, beautiful. You do kind of get off the plane, smells like maple syrup. People said that, and it's like really kind of true. I suddenly wanted to have bacon, too. I don't know what it is. But I really think the power of knowledge, the power of being able to come together and understand your own disease, to be able to learn about it, to become empowered. Not, you do what you want with policy and literacy and all, with policy and all those sorts of things. When I got diagnosed, the first place I wanted to go was not Capitol Hill. I wanted to be treated. I wanted to be treated like a human being. I wanted to be treated here. I want to be treated now. Okay, and I did have a big dream of that 4-letter word, cure. I think once you get diagnosed, even if it's many, many years down the road, it seems to be, even though they may tell you you're treated, they may tell you you're in remission, there's still this whole, I'm different than I was. I'm not who I used to be. I see me different, even though I may look the same in my mirror. And that's hard. And the hardest thing I've had to do myself, I'm talking me, wasn't really the treatments. It was every time I went in for a scan, and I have one coming up in a couple of weeks, every time I go in for a scan, in my mind, how am I going to tell the kids? Like I said, I've had 5 recurrences. I've had 5 recurrences since January 2017. And in my mind, the same way you drive down the street, it's like, oh, if this happens, that happens, whatever am I going to do? I don't know. I get 4 or 6 scans a year. I've had all the things done. How am I going to tell the kids if mom fails the test again? Because I can't prepare for it. I can't see it. And if you've been diagnosed, or anybody in your world has been diagnosed, you know that sense. Call it scanxiety. That doesn't begin to explain it, doesn't begin to express what it feels like. Oh, I can tell you all the right things to say. I can tell you all the right things to do. Go and exercise, eat healthy, drink plenty of water, don't worry about it. I can tell you all that too. And the truth of the matter is, I tell myself that too, and guess what? It doesn't really make a big difference. I still get, irritable, anxious, short-tempered, hangry, even though I ate. That's a true thing. And I know what it takes. And the best thing you can do is talk to somebody else like you. Talk to me. Talk to somebody in your circle. Join one of the support groups. Get connected. Don't be alone in it. I adore my family. Boy, they don't get it. Go be strong. You got this, Mom. course I got this. I'm Superwoman. They've watched me juggle all sorts of stuff, being in 2 PTA meetings at the same time and being classroom mom and like being here and being, but you know what? This is something that's beyond my control. And it doesn't matter how I got the cancer, okay? I got it. I'm doing it as best I can. I also know that I need to not be that whole, and I need to be realistic, because for me to skip a scan, for me not to do the thing I need to do, is going to make it worse. And the best thing I can do is connect with other people that have that same similar feeling, that same understanding. I have some dear, dear friends. They don't get it. You know, I went in for one scan. Again, I never get this kind of time. I went in for one scan, and I was telling like one of my besties, like, you know how you get your core, like 5 people or whatever, and she was one of my besties, and she's like, you got this, you're good. I'm sure you're just totally fine. And I went in and I wasn't. And not only did I feel like I let her down, now how do I report that? And I got to report to the kids. And as forward as much as I tell people, everybody like around the world, and they are all over the world, no, I haven't had lung cancer. How do you tell them? How do we tell me? And what do we do next? You have the opportunity. This is about empowerment. As a patient, as a mom, as a grandmother, as a whatever you may be, as a son, daughter, whatever. If you're a person, okay, connect with other people that have that too. I'm hopeful to get a puppy in the near future. Now, I know that sounds like not that big of a deal. You know why it's a big deal to me? It's a big deal to me because I didn't get a dog after my last one died. Sad story. First day of my first round of chemo, he died that day. I didn't want to get a dog, and I didn't want to have to go through that pain, and I didn't want to have to go through the pain of a dog losing me. I feared that kind of commitment. I'm almost 9 years out now. For me to be able to bravely consider getting a puppy means I think my clock hasn't stopped ticking yet. And where's that, I don't know, where's that confidence come? Where's that hope come from? I think that hope really comes from that knowledge, talking to other people, getting to know the research about me, about my KRAS, and I can bore you silly about it. Advocating for yourself, for your family, for your survivorship. I don't mean just surviving, like, you know, dragging yourself through the war zone and, you know, I mean survivorship, the integrative oncology, the dry needling, all that stuff. Yes, exercise, eat healthy, all those things, okay? Sleep well, all that stuff. And tell your doctor what's not working well. Don't be afraid to, and I get to say this on the stage. I actually get to say this is fun. Don't be afraid to talk about your sex life. Go see that doctor. Love our oncologists. Y'all are not the right people for this. You're really not the right people for this. And it doesn't matter what kind of cancer it is or what type of gender or whatever it is. Reach out to that group. As we're aging, as human beings, if you're not dead, you're aging. It's like the good news about surviving cancer is I'm getting older. Like, I don't know. I think that what happens at one point, I thought I was just going to wake up one day and I'd just say, that's it, I give up, and I just, like, my whole body would just say, that's it. I would just completely melt down and I'd look like crap. I had no idea it was a little bit day by day by day. But that's what I get. But my big takeaway is I want you to know how incredibly important it is for you to connect with other people like you. To to be able to join a sense of community, to know what you have makes you a part of, doesn't remove you from something else. And I know I'm about out of time, and I don't remember my next slides. There we go. I have some of these stickers. I got a whole bunch of stickers out there. But I want you all, wherever you are, and the things that you're doing, to feel a sense of us. And together, we can kick cancer's KRAS. That's it. If you want to ask questions, I think I have like 3 minutes left. Okay.
Thank you so much, Terri. That was very intimate. Thank you for sharing your story. You hear me okay?
It's nice that they're getting up and leaving when you start talking.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better. Thank you all for waiting.
Oh,
I see a hand over here.
You hear me now?
Yep.
All right.
Over here.
Thank you so much, Terri. Yeah, if you have a question, please use
Do you see
the
her?
mic,
Over here.
or I will.
Look.
I will walk.
Far left. Left.
There.
There you go. See, even here. Nope, left. It's like having a husband at home. No, the mustard is on your left. Like, look left. No, your other left.
I just have a little trouble getting my head around the fact that if you go in and have a scan or a test of some sort that says it's recurrent or there's a change or something, I don't understand why you call it a failure. I failed the test. You did the test, and it shows you what's happening, and then the doctors can decide what other steps are needed. I just have a little trouble with that.
Well, and awesome. That's good for you. It feels like a failure to me. Nobody's telling me I failed their test, but to me, it feels like a failure of a test. I realize how fortunate I am that they can go in and see a window inside of my body, see what's going on or what isn't going on, okay? Yet, at the same time, because I can't do anything for it, because of it, that's how it makes me feel inside. It's like I'm a little kid and I came home and I failed. And that's real. It's more of an emotional thing than it is a reality thing. And I'm working very hard trying to not see it that way and not feel that way about it. Yet that's still how it feels. And hopefully I don't have to have that feeling again. But that's how it feels to me.
Hi, Terri. Thank you for your talk. I know that it's one thing for folks to get up there and present slides with scientific facts and data, but it's a whole other thing to get up there and be so vulnerable and share your own personal story, and I really appreciate you being here to do that. I work at the Cancer Center here in the Clinical Trials Office, and I just felt compelled to share with folks who are local that we have a relatively new website where we list all of the clinical trials available here at the University of Vermont for any patients who might be interested in clinical trials, since they were mentioned here. I also know the next talk is probably going to go a lot into the clinical trials as well, but we work with Dr. Singh here. We have some really amazing trials available for lung cancer patients, and I just wanted to share that with the group.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And yeah, I hope y'all do listen to the clinical trial talk. And let's talk after, because I have some other things that we've got doing. And it would be remiss. Okay, I got 1 minute, and I see him over here. So when it comes to clinical trials, when it comes to information, and it would be remiss if I didn't tell you about KRAS kickers, that the stickers are about. We're about 12,000 people internationally in 117 countries globally, and what we do is we connect around people that have a KRAS cancer, which is not genetic, it's just what's driving your cancer.
We'll take one last question.
This isn't a question, but I just wanted to say that for a long time, I've never felt so heard and seen by your story. So much of what you said, I could relate to, like when I had to tell my kids I had cancer, and that was the hardest thing ever that I had to do. And hearing you speak, I feel like I was heard and seen on so many levels for the first time. I'm not kidding you. And I am 6 years in remission. I got diagnosed in 2018. And I feel like the things you said, I was heard and seen for the first time.
Well, thank you, because that's why I do this, is I want people to feel that. So thank you. I'll give you a hug after this. I think I'm completely out of time. They're going to shoot me in a minute. Okay.
Thank you so much, Terri. Our next session will start at 11:10, so yeah, we have 10 minutes. If you're registered for the trial run, please stay here. But if you're registered for Pushing Boundaries, Innovation in Lung Cancer, we go to the Sugar Maple at the back of the wall, go through our exhibition hall. Coffee, tea are available in our fireplace lounge, and we will start our next meeting at 11:10. Thank you.